Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the county sheriff. Is in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, March the 5th, 2018 time, 3:30 a.m. First, I thank all my fans, my support, for their continued encouragement and support. I continue to keep myself employed right here in this Memphis tri-state area and continue to further my education at Monroe College online. I'm pursuing my social degree and I'm studying business administration, concentrated marketing. And on my previous video, I had informed all my fans, my support, that I took a break from going to school at Monroe College, but in the very near future, I am going to continue to further my education at Monroe College online, pursue my social degree in business administration and concentration marketing. Now, what I'm gonna do right now, do my Instagram. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the county sheriff, in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, March the 5th, 2018 time, 3:32 a.m. First, I thank all my fans, my support, for the continued encouragement and support. I always want to put God first, and thank God for all the blessings and the guidance that He provides us all with, and all those who are listening, watching my Instagram video. I encourage all of you to watch my YouTube video, watch my Periscope video, and also my Facebook Live video. what I'm doing now. I'm doing my Facebook Live. Hello, hello everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the county of Shelbyville, in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early, Monday morning, March the 5th, 2018, time 3:36 a.m. First, say thank you to all my fans, my support, for your continued encouragement and support. We know that we myself continue to talk about this gang point of view, and anti-gang. Now, continue to speak out and complain about this gang point of view, and it always leads to anti-gang demonstration, anti-gang protest. Now, these are just a few other free logo websites that you can go to make anti-gang logos. Now, on today's video, we're going to continue to reiterate. There's some things that we continue to talk about in the Bible and everything. And we're going to continue to put this emphasis on anti-gang. And we're going to finish with the dictionary. But as we continue to expose Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, all the lies that he told, we know that the man-made religious organization, that's who they listen to. They listen to Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. Now, such as the Catholic Church and all the religious organizations that broke away from the Catholic Church. The Eastern Orthodox, they broke away from the Catholic Church. The Church of Christ, they broke away. Your Protestants, and you know all this denomination and non-denominationalists, all your Protestants, they broke away from the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church, and their breakaway church, the Church of God in Christ. The Calvinists, the Lutherans, and the Church of England, the Episcopalians, the Presbyterians, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Seventh-day Adventists, the Mormons, Scientology, like I said, we'll be here all day. They take scriptures out the Bible and they mislead themselves as well as others. And one of the scriptures that they use is Romans chapter 16, verse 16. Also, these groups. Let's don't leave out these groups, like the Moorish Science Temple, the Nation of Islam, the 5% Nation, the Black Hebrew Israelites, the Rastafarians. Look, we know the source of the Moorish Science Temple. We know how it all got started. We know all those who were involved. No matter what they say, we know that there are many people who know the truth. That they lying. The Moorish Science Temple lying about Noble Drew Ali and all this nonsense. And the Nation of Islam, we know the source. Because of all that Moorish Science Temple stuff, many of those people were the same people who was involved with the Nation of Islam. The 5% Nation, the same thing. See, it's just a line of these, it's just one organization behind the other. And with the Black Hebrew Israelites, what's his name? Ben Ami from Chicago, Illinois. He over there in Israel right now. We know the source behind all this nonsense. And the Rastafarians. That's really why you see all these Jamaicans on the East Coast. And but these man-made religious organizations, one of the scriptures that they use, Romans chapter 16, verse 16, salute one another with the holy kiss. The church with the suffix es, churches of Christ, salute you. Another scripture that they use is 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 4. So that we ourselves glory in you in the church with the suffix es, churches of God, for your patience and faith in all your persecution and tribulation that ye endure. Now, as you know, all this stuff about being a Christian, excuse me, it's come from the book of Acts, chapter 11, verse 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that the whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. Who said call the disciples Christians in Antioch? Why? Now, sure. Now we know that's a very serious issue. Now, you know, you take the name Christ, and then you add that IAN with the S on Christian or Christians. Now, I know today I won't. They were going, in-depth review of the Bible and this whole issue about being a Christian, but we've been exposing Saul. We're exposing Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. Now, like I said, we just read Acts chapter 26. Acts chapter 11, verse 26. And about this Christian stuff. That's the first place in the Bible that you find out about this Christian stuff. Now, the book of Acts, chapter 15, verse number 2. When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation with them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question. Now, to put that Christian stuff to rest, put all that stuff to rest about being a Christian, the book of Acts chapter 15, verse 22. Verse 22. Then pleased did the apostles and elders with the whole church to send chosen men of their own company to Antioch with Paul and Barnabas, namely Judas, surnamed Barsabbas, and Silas, chief men among the brethren. Now we know that Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, lied about his conversion. Now we know Saul from Tarsus, self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, was supposedly been converted. Acts chapter 9, he supposed to be converted by Jesus Christ. Saul from Tarsus, self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, lied. He lied when he tells about his conversion in Acts chapter 22. And being specific, Acts chapter 22, verse number 9, he lied. He said that the men that journeyed with him, they saw the light, but they didn't hear no voice. We know that's a lie, because Acts chapter 9, verse number 2 tells you that the men who journeyed with Saul, not only did they see the light, but they heard a voice, but they didn't see no man. Saul from Tarsus, self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, he lied when he tells about his conversion in Acts chapter 22, verse number 9. Saul from Tarsus, self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, he lied again when he recounts his conversion in Acts chapter 26, verses 13 and 14. He says that I heard a voice. Well, I'm not going to deny that Saul heard a voice, because when Jesus Christ asked him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? He answered back, who art thou, Lord? He answered back. So we know, yes, Saul did hear a voice, but he was not the only one who heard the voice of Jesus Christ. He lied. He lied. Saul from Tarsus, self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, he lied when he recounts his conversion. King Agrippa in Acts chapter 26, verse 28, he said, almost thou persuadest me to be a Christian. We know after Acts chapter 15, verse 22, that was the end of that Christian stuff. That was the end of it. There was no reason for King Agrippa to say anything of that nature. We weren't supposed to hear that. We weren't supposed to hear, but look who was around. Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. First Peter chapter 4, verse 16. If any man suffer as a Christian, you know that the Apostle Paul did not tell anybody. Excuse me. The Apostle Peter, the Apostle Peter did not tell anybody to be a Christian. He didn't. That's a lie. The Apostle Peter told you in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 16, that there were people going around lying. Because when you say, if any man suffer as a Christian, you the same Apostle Peter in Acts chapter 15, verse 22. They told they sent chosen men back to Antioch. So how is it that the Apostle Peter going to tell you to be a Christian? That's a lie. That's a lie. Second Peter chapter 3, verses 15, 16, 17, 18. The Apostle Peter exposes Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, all that epistle writing all these epistles. Nobody needs to hear anything from them. They all lies. All those epistles that Saul wrote, they all lies. It's all lies. Don't read it. He lied. He lied about his conversion. Everything that he wrote is a lie. In Acts chapter 28, when we read about Saul of Tarsus, the self-proclaimed apostle, being in Rome, that's a lie. That's another lie. Who told Saul to go to Rome? He was traveling around with Silas. The brethren took Silas away from him. They took Silas away from him. He was traveling around by himself. Nobody from the church told him anything to do that. He going around by himself. He doing whatever he doing on his own. He lying. Saul from Tarsus lying. When you see him in Rome, the church is in Jerusalem. The man-made religious organization, the headquarters is in Rome. You listening to Saul. That's when you listen to. Nobody told Saul to go to Rome. He lying. Now, as you know, African traditional religion is being taught in institutions, higher learning, colleges, universities in sub-Saharan Africa. You can earn a bachelor's degree, PhD studying African traditional religion. Now, one of the books we're going to continue to read from and we're going to refer to is titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omasei related to Dr. P. Adalumo the Paymo. Another book we're going to continue to read from and we're going to refer to is titled African Traditional Religion, a definition written by Dr. E. Baloja Adowu. Another book we're going to continue to read from referred to as titled African Religions and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. Another book we're going to continue to read from referred to as titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. Now, as you know, the United States government is doing what it can about this gang point of view, and it's a serious issue, and this gang point of view. Here in the United States of America, there are people living in this country on the East Coast, and the East Coast is like the gang base, like the base. People go up and down the East Coast, from the state of Florida all the way up to Maine, with this gang point of view, and then they leave the East Coast. A lot of African Americans leave the East Coast. They end up in cities like Chicago, Illinois, and Los Angeles, California. They end up in Memphis, Tennessee. Arkansas, Mississippi. They end up in Kentucky. They end up in Louisiana. They end up in Texas. They end up in Colorado. They end up in Arizona somewhere. They be in Las Vegas, Nevada. They be in North Dakota. South Dakota, they be in Wyoming. They just spread out with this gang point of view. And it's really a very negative concept. Now let me now some words that we need to make sure we hold: coercion, coerce, sexual coercion, psychological coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. Coercion, coerce, sexual coercion, psychological coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. Now, like we was talking about this gang point of view, on the East Coast. Now, it's based on people from sub-Saharan Africa, mainly Niger, Congo, down, were brought over from sub-Saharan Africa. The transatlantic slave trade. Now we know about the East African and the West African slave trade, and the overwhelming majority, Niger, Congo, a very, very, very small few, very, very small few, Nilo-Saharan, very, very, very small amount of Afro-Asiatic, possibly. Got mixed in, thrown on the ship, and all that, got sent over. And then, the people were denied education, brought over, denied education, and the only thing you learned was this gang point of view. Now, slaves also were brought to slave ports in Mississippi. That was a state of Mississippi. That was a slave port. The state of Louisiana, the city of New Orleans, Louisiana, slave port. The state of Texas, the city of Galveston, slave port, and also Veracruz, Mexico, slave port. Now, this whole gang point of view, this ignorance, it still a problem today. But all this word stuff, talking about gang, that's German. Goon, that's English, which is German. Boss, that's Dutch, that's German. Thug, that's Indian. The abbreviation mob is not even a word, it's an abbreviation for mobile. That's a word, which is Latin. It's Latin. And then there are other words: pimp, whore, player, mac, hustler. All this street slang terminology, and it's a big issue to deal with, and it's still a serious issue today, and when myself continue to speak out and complain, myself as well as others. I mean, others also. Like I say, the U.S. government, there are men and women working in the United States government, state government, local government, who do what they can to address this gang point of view, and it's wrong. You know what I mean? There's nothing right about nobody taking a word out the dictionary and then lying about it. And regardless of what any language, regardless of what language, it's still wrong. And like I brought up yesterday, well, matter of fact, anti-gang didn't just start recently. It didn't just start recently. Cause see, when I was growing up, just like I brought to everybody's attention, this house, when I make my videos, I've been making my videos for over 2 years. Let's just say for over 2, because this 2018, last year was 2017, so let's just say for over 2 years in this house, I've been making my videos. And when I make my videos, like I say, this house is paid for. My dad, he passed away in 2012. Him and my mom, worked all these years and bought this house. This house paid for. And when I was growing up, I went to West Haven Elementary School right in this neighborhood, this same neighborhood where I grew up. The majority of my childhood and life was right here in this neighborhood. I went to West Haven Elementary School, went to Lanier Junior High School, graduated from Fairleigh High School. When I was growing up, see, I was not in no gang. There were gangs, people in this neighborhood, in this area, in this city, there were gang members. I was not in no gang for this reason. This is the reason why. There were people who made it clear they didn't want nobody to make me or anybody else be in no gang. And that's the honest truth. They didn't want nobody to make me or anybody else be in no gang. See, anti-gang started way back. There were people who were mad about that same thing, about people going around trying to make other people, families, be in a gang. See, anti-gang started when I was a child, even before I was born. So anti-gang didn't just start recently. I've been ever since I was a child. Like I say, going elementary school, junior high school, I was not in no gang for that reason. Even into my adult, being an adult, I'm still walking around. Not no gang member. And so anti-gang didn't just start recently. And you had these, like we've been talking about, these people from the East Coast. You got these celebrity athletes and entertainers that go outside this country. They don't just be here, but they go outside this country, and it's a possibility they try to do the same thing. They try to lie to other people. You understand? And it's wrong. And it's been time that we do all that we can to do what needs to be done to stop people from doing it. It's wrong, and it needs to stop. So like I said, I'm going to continue to speak out and complain, because I know it's going to lead to anti-gang demonstration, protests, and as I informed all my listeners, viewers, that I did get my DNA. I did get my DNA done by Family Tree DNA, and when I done it, I made my video. I had said something to on my video, because I got it done in 2016, like right at the end of 2016. Matter of fact, it was like October, and then I did the because I did my mother and father side first, and then I did the family find the next. It was like December of 2016, and I had mentioned it because I hadn't got the result back. But then once I got the result, I really just didn't tell anybody, till recently. But once I the results on my DNA test was like 69% of my DNA is African, and 29% of my DNA is European. Then I have trace results from Northeast Asia, about 1%, and North and Central America, 2%. Now, being more specific, and 69% African is 61% West African, 6% East Central African, and 2% South Central African. When it comes to the European DNA, being more specific, 18% from the British Isles, 7% from Eastern Europe, and 4% from the Iberian Peninsula. And again, that 1% from Northeast Asia, I did some research on that 1%, and because when I looked at the map, when they said Northeast Asia, I looked around. I did my research. I looked at the map, and I found this location, and the location of that DNA, that 1% DNA, is Xinjiang, the Uyghur Autonomous Region, and now when you talk about that region, now there's a history in that region, and some of the history of that region is that now you have the North Xinjiang, these are Garia, the Tibetan Buddhists. Then you have South Xinjiang, which is Tarim Basin, the Turkic Uyghur people in that region. Now you also have the Han Chinese, but historically, the Indo-European Tacharians, they was in that region. They found, the archaeologists found blonde, blue-eyed, people, the Indo-European Tacharians, and they also the Indo-Iranian Sake. They was also in that area. Now, when it comes to the Indo-European Tacharians, they intermix with the Turkic Uyghur people. They intermix, and when I say intermix, there was no force. When you do research, it talks about the Turkic Uyghur people and the Indo-European Tacharians, mutually agreeing to intermix. They mutually agreed to intermix, and so. because like I said, people, like I said, I've been doing my videos right, and sometimes people they paying attention to the things we were talking about, just like we were talking about arguments and arguing. We've been talking about the gang videos that the gangs up there in Chicago, Illinois, and the gangs out there in Los Angeles, California, making these videos. And then I make my videos. I include the dictionary in my videos because I bought Webster's Third New International Dictionary from Amazon.com, and also Oxford English Dictionary. I also bought it from Amazon.com. And then you got these individuals in Chicago, Illinois, making gang videos. And then you got these people in Los Angeles, California, making gang videos. But so when it comes to that gang point of view, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been making my videos, and I include the dictionary in my video for that very reason. Because you just can't be that ignorant. You just can't be that ignorant. And me, like I said, I'm not going on anything. I've been anti-gang ever since I was a child. And then there were people before I was born who, they didn't think that was right either. They didn't think that was right either. But it's been time for things to stop these people once and for all. Just stop all this nonsense, all this ignorance. Now we're gonna go to the dictionary and Webster's Third New International Dictionary and Oxford English Dictionary, the prefixes and suffixes, root words, they're in the dictionary. Now, Webster's third New International Dictionary, the definition and meaning of gang, the act, manner, or means of going. Mobile. Mob. Now, there's stupid sorority, there's stupid fraternity. Sister. Brother. Oxford English Dictionary. The definition and meaning of gang: action or mode of going, way, passage. Also, a set of things or persons. Mobile and mob. The stupid sorority, stupid fraternity. Excuse me. Well, excuse me. We're going to excuse me. Now, I continue to speak out and complain. It's going to lead to anti-gang demonstration, protest. Now, there are websites. They make free logo websites. I have a few. There are many worldwide. And as as we've been saying, this is not a local issue. It's not just a regional. It's not a national. It's international. It's worldwide. This gang point of view, it affects everybody. It affects everybody. It's wrong, and it needs to stop. Now, like I said, these are a few free logo websites to make anti-gang logos. So I'm get ready to end today's video. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county Shelbyville, in the state of Tennessee. And I thank all my fans, my support for the continued encouragement and support. And I always put God first. And you take care of yourself. I wish each and every one of you the very best.